What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And all of us collectively, as a small unit, are speaking the language of bromance. I have all three of you on Skype. It looks like the intro to the Brady Bunch right now.
It's a story.
It's a story of a little podcast.
Of three dudes and a girl.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Can Karen speak the language of bromance?
Yeah, can you have a chick on your podcast?
Well, that's up to Shawn, because Shawn decided he wanted to take charge. I'm going to say when we're recording.
Well, I think we've only had...
I'm going to have a girl on the podcast.
I think we've only had 3 guests on our show ever, and one of them was the same guy. So this is the 4th time we've had guests on our show. And I like we always say, like, bros can be ladies or dudes. Like, we're open for whatever.
How nice. So am I an honorary bro?
I would say so, yeah.
That's great. I'm going to scratch my crotch and burp. But that's no different than any other podcast.
You can pass gas.
That's like
yeah.
every time we record. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
That's why I spend most of my editing on Karen's farts.
Fair enough.
It's true. And burps.
So we have a special guest on our show this week. It's Jason and Karen from the Walking Dead cast. If you guys, do you guys want to introduce kind of your show and kind of what that's about?
It's all about gardening and
Sports.
sports.
Because you're walking past the dead flowers, you're trying to bring them back to life.
It's cemetery landscaping. Because you ever tried to mow in a cemetery, like getting around headstones? Mm-mm.
No, I've never tried to mow around a cemetery.
We do a podcast about the popular AMC show, The Walking Dead, which we started about 3 months before the show came out. And luckily, it was a big hit, and we have a lot of fun with it. But we're pretty sick of... Are we sick of talking about zombies?
Hell
Actually,
no.
we're not, but...
Hell no.
It'd be fun to talk about some other stuff.
But we
for
are
once.
sick of talking to each other. So thank God
No,
we
we're
have
not.
Shawn and Richard with us. Or we're with you.
Yeah, you're with us. We are your ever gracious hosts. And Shawn, would you like to pass them drinks or snacks?
I've got some nice snacks here.
What is it? What is it?
What do you
What are
got?
the snacks?
It's Cheetos
Oh,
and Cheez-Its. That's all I can find.
very cheesy.
Quite a variety of cheese-flavored snacks.
So what kind of drinks do you have? I would like something.
Shawn's got booze.
My drink
Here
of
we
choice
go.
right now, and I probably should have had it ready, because before we do a show, I typically will have a nice little adult beverage.
Sure.
Of course.
And right now, my drink of choice is hot apple cider and Fireball.
That's
And
awesome.
he starts talking,
It's-
like he'll have one drink every time he has a drink. And this is when we're out. Like, we'll be out somewhere. Every single time he has a drink, every single time he'll be like, this is really good. Like, he always has to let me know the state of his beverage because I apparently care. This is a really good drink. Every time we'll go to a bar, this is a really good drink. I'm like, thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Does he offer for you to taste it, to try some?
Sometimes he
Okay.
does. There's that, and then he's a little bit of a lightweight, so he's like, I'm gonna get another one, and then he starts to get kind of like bouncy about it.
Well, and I get a little handsy when I drink
That
too,
too.
so I put my arm around him, like, here, just try a little sip of this.
Try
I
Yes,
love
I
you
was
so
thinking-
much.
It's so hot. It's so hot here.
Take me home. When Karen and I, we always drink too before we podcast. And I learned early on that Karen should have a 1 beer limit because she gets a little belligerent, starts insulting me after 2.
This guy right here, without a doubt.
No, I said 3, 2, 1 recording. You son
Yeah.
of a bitch. This show's over.
It's off. It's
And then he
off.
stands up and falls down. His wife puts him back in the chair. If I was there, it'd look hilarious. On the
Gives a little
camera, it
kick.
looks pretty funny.
How did you two meet?
Oh, now I see. Now I feel like we're the husband and wife. Shawn, would you like to tell the story?
Well, this was so Richard and I both worked at a sports bar. Richard was a cook in the back, and I was a server out front. And we actually kind of had that, are we best friends moment over a horror movie. So at this time, this is like 2005.
Last House on the Left was the horror movie. The original.
I was a huge, huge horror fan. Like 8 Films to Die For, the Halloweens that Rob Zombie was doing. And so I'm sitting there talking about, I think, the Saw franchise at this point, talking to somebody, and Richard comes out, here's my conversation, and Rich tells me, "What'd you say, sweetheart?"
What did I say? See, this
You never remember.
Yeah, see, because I'm the man in the relationship. I don't remember every goddamn fucking little goddamn thing you say.
No, so you said something to the effect of, like, you want to see a really fucked up movie.
Oh, yes. I said if you want to see a horror movie, if you want to see a really crazy, fucked up movie, go find the original Last House on the Left, directed by Wes Craven. It was this very first movie. And he watched it. He went to Blockbuster Video because
That's adorable.
Yep, back Blockbuster was still there.
that was the time. So we went to Blockbuster Video and he read it. Apparently he didn't understand when I said it was fucked up because he decided to have his mom around when he watched it. And I don't know. Have you guys seen it? Have you guys seen the original?
No.
Mm-mm.
But
Oh.
really, your mom?
Yeah, so I was a girl I was seeing at the time, so I was still like 18 or 19, so I was still living at home. So brought a girl I was overseeing. I was like, how fucked up can this movie be?
Hey, somebody told me to watch a really fucked up movie. Let's bring a date.
How fucked up can it be?
And he thought apparently he didn't take me seriously because in that movie, let's see, there's a girl that gets stabbed and disemboweled. A guy convinces a heroin addict to shoot himself.
Yikes.
The dog gets set on fire, and the coup de grace is a girl is going down on a guy, and then about a good couple minutes into it, she decides to get a little forceful
Uh-oh.
with her mouth,
Oh,
with her mouth hole.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
That was the part that I got the phone call.
Yeah, that's the part where I see that, like, it's all this stuff is happening. Like, this is really messed up. I got to talk to Richard tomorrow at work. When the biting incident happened, I said, I'm calling Richard right now. And I call, and like, we weren't really like friends at all at this point. And so I call work, he's working. I'm like, hey, can you get Richard from the back? He's like, holy shit. Like, is somebody hurt? Like, nobody calls me at work. And he picks up the phone and all I say is, what the fuck did you make me watch?
I warned him.
Because I mean, this is the Wes Craven that created Scream, created Freddy Krueger, and this was his first film.
His first
Yeah.
movie.
And it was
Adorable.
messed up.
I saw one of the most fucked up things I've ever witnessed on TV just the other day. It was on Ash vs. Evil Dead. Do you guys watch that show?
Are you going to tell us what it is yet?
Dude,
I haven't seen it.
It's can you describe it, Richard? I think you might.
So you know the way deadites work
Yes.
is it's like they're dead corpses that get reanimated.
Yeah, yeah.
Or sometimes it's a part of a corpse that gets reanimated. So in this case, he's in a morgue and it's somebody's intestine that gets animated and is trying to kill Ash. So
Awesome!
it grabs him.
Like
Oh my
snakes.
god, that
It
is so
grabs him
great.
by the neck and then proceeds to bring him back into the corpse through
With its big dangling corpse
Yeah.
penis.
Yeah.
What?
But so there's an autopsied man on top of Ash's shoulders because how does Ash's head get in the cavity? Through the
Forcefully.
yeah.
Is it like Joey and Friends when he had the turkey stuck on his head?
Yes.
He's sitting there
That's good.
screaming, "Not the butt, not up the butt!" and then he's like, "I'm up the butt." Oh,
That's awesome.
And of course he has little, gooey shit all over his shirt for the
I
rest
cannot
of the
wait
episode.
to see
Yeah.
it. I'm one episode behind.
We were a bit shocked.
Yeah, that one. Like there was like you watch that, like you watch the Evil Dead movies and you watch Ash versus Evil Dead, and it's always like, you know, that campy kind of horror, which I love. Like what was that movie? Peter Jackson directed it. I can't.
Fright.
Dead
no,
Alive.
Dead Alive.
That was it. Well, it's like, to me that was like Peter Jackson watched Evil Dead. It's like, I want to make a movie like that, and that's what he made.
That's a Peter Jackson take on it. You're right.
Yeah.
So I love. I mean, I do. I love that campy horror stuff, but it never really like shocked me or kind of grossed me out. I mean, because it's always just like, it's so over the top,
Right.
that it's like it doesn't hurt anymore. that one kind of had me going, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's 3 of us. We're all guys who do our Evil Dead cast. I don't know if you know, I do another one, and we were all kind of speechless. We're like, it took us a while to get that one up and going.
Exactly. After 3 movies and a season of a TV show, and now this, like you got to that, and I was like, you know, I've seen everything that's come before this, but they did it. They topped themselves.
So how much of your poo phobia was it that messed you up on that, Rich? Because I know you have a pretty big.
It was the fact that like there's squirting. There's squirting as he's going in, and I'm just like I'm holding my nose, and
I would say pretty much everyone, you either have a poo phobia, or if you don't, then you're,
Ew.
I guess, poophiliac, because
yeah,
there's no like
Isn't
middle
there?
ground.
I
there.
agree. Who sits on the fence on that issue?
Well, everybody, we all pooped, Jason. Everybody's read the book, and you don't have to be afraid of it. I mean, that wouldn't.
But you don't want it on your shirt, is all I'm saying, or your face.
Or your chest.
No. Oh, well, there are basic laws of decency. Yes.
Yeah, like I don't think
Yes.
anybody's sitting there going like, you know, I think I'd have to have it done to me once for me to figure out if I like it.
Yeah. Don't knock it till you try it. But I told Jenny, my wife, I said, I just saw probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And she said, was it worse than 2 Girls, 1 Cup?
Ew.
And I said, nope.
No.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, and I don't even know what it is. And
Don't
I mean,
bother.
I'll send
no,
it to you.
Don't you dare. I mean, I know that it's a thing, but I don't know what happens in it, and I'm glad I don't know.
Yeah, just
That's one of the things you can completely avoid in
And
life.
you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
let that be.
Yeah, there was a time where we were at like a D&D group, and I was like, how bad can it really be? Like, I've got a strong stomach. You watch like 10 seconds and something happens. I'm like,
Nope.
nope.
Done.
Wow.
Done here. Let's pack it.
Wow.
I filmed Chad McDonald watching that. I just filmed his reaction, and he was just going, no, no.
Well, I think the reaction videos, that's probably what started
Yes.
the reaction
Yeah.
videos, if I remember
Yes.
correctly.
I think
It's like, let's get grandma in front of the computer and show her 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Right. I hope the people who created this simulation that we're living in are proud of what it's come to.
Oh, yeah. Just Control Alt Delete this and start
Right.
yeah, I
over.
quit the internet for a day or better after watching that.
I have a question. Are there really 2 girls in it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 1 cup.
There
There's just
really
one.
are 2 girls and 1 cup.
Yes, there are 2 girls and 1
See,
cup.
I can't imagine anything that would be so awful. I've thought about this before, and I'm never going to watch it. But I think to myself, what could possibly be so awful about 2 girls and 1 cup? I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like the Aristocrats joke. Have you ever heard the Aristocrats joke?
No.
There's a documentary called The Aristocrats, and it's about these. It's a joke that stand-up comedians tell to other stand-up comedians.
Yes.
And
Yes.
The joke starts, a guy walks into a talent agency and he tells the talent agent, I have the perfect act for you. It's going to blow you away. And the talent agent says, what's the act? And from that point to the end point of the joke, that comedian comes up with his own weird, crazy, insane shit that usually brings in a family.
Disgusting.
And it's usually super raunchy. I heard Bob Saget's version of it. Bob Saget has a 10-minute, he'll go on this 10-minute
Oh, he's filthy.
litany of this family comes in and they're ripping off underwear and and at the end of the joke he says, well, what do you guys call yourselves? And they say, the aristocrats.
So I don't know why I thought about this though, and we've never talked about it in our show, but so kind of a palate cleanse that we had from Two Girls, One Cup one time. I don't know if you remember this at all, Richard, but do you remember the cake farts video?
That was mine. I was the one that showed you that.
Yeah, I know.
It is a girl farting on a cake. I'm not kidding whatsoever, and it is the funniest thing you have ever seen.
A girl farting on a cake?
It's a girl farting on a
Yeah.
cake. That's it. That's all it is. She looks in the camera and with the most serious face in the world. And then she farts on a cake and
Yeah.
I cried. Every time I watch it, I cry. I laugh so hard I cry. Every single time.
Oh man.
I got to check that out.
Oh, so anyway, what are we actually going to talk about today, Shawn?
Well, we kind of dropped a little hint about this interesting story I recently found. I guess one question I was going to ask before we jump in that, if it's okay, because we can kind of see like maybe what your guys' simulation was. So we kind of told our origin story of how I met. How did you guys meet?
I'll let you tell it, Karen.
Well, do you really want to talk about the days in prison? Because I don't know how okay you really feel about it. Is this something that maybe...
Karen's ashamed of how we met, so she makes up
I'm not
stories.
ashamed of how we met.
Jason was in like the corner about ready to get shanked, and you came in and rescued him, and he was your prison bitch? Is that how it
I'm
worked?
picturing striped suits and somebody has a harmonica or a mouth organ, if you will.
That's exactly right. That is exactly how it went down.
And,
All right, she's not
No.
going to say. You have to listen to the podcast to find out.
ooh,
It's
there it
mysterious.
is. See, that's what we should do. Why don't we do that?
Interweave mystery.
Because it's our podcast.
We like to put everything out on Front Street. We don't have anything to hide.
Yeah. I've seen Two Girls, One Cup. I watched a girl fart on a cake. Yep. I say those things out loud on the internet in public. Oh.
On bus rides, yeah. Just randomly. Cake farts.
So I have a question for you guys. Since you're a podcasting, I was going to say couple, but I'm going to call you a duo.
Couple's
Couple's probably
accurate.
more accurate.
Okay. Podcasting couple. So when you talk to each other, do you sometimes say, no, wait, don't talk about that, save it for the podcast?
No.
No, yeah, our problem is usually we'll talk like for 15 or 20 minutes before the show actually kicks off. And there's probably a ton of gold there that we've missed because it's
Probably.
pretty much these conversations.
But you guys don't have any problem coming up with content no matter what is the thing.
Not really.
And I can see that. That's obvious.
We I met you, Jason, at Podcast Movement. The year before last, Richard and I actually did. We recorded our whole trip down to Fort Worth when it was there, and had some great content.
8-hour drive in the car,
Yeah, baby.
there and back.
So the trip to Chicago, we took the train, so we didn't really feel comfortable recording, but we still had these exact conversations all the way to
so
Chicago.
great.
Well, I remember on the way to Dallas, we talked for like 2 or 3 hours before it's like, oh, should we record this? I guess, yeah, I guess we could do that. Like the recorder's right here on my lap. I guess I should push a button.
How close do you live together?
We're about 2 hours apart.
So usually what we kind of do on our show is we'll find kind of some kind of interesting story and we'll build kind of a universe around it. And this one kind of sparked my fancy. I found it actually just this week. And a lot of times with what we do, we'll pretty much just read the title and we'll make up stuff from there. Sometimes we'll read a little bit into it. But the headline on this one is Silicon Valley questions the meaning of life. And underneath is the tech industry is increasingly consumed by whether our existence is actually an algorithm. So basically what this is essentially saying is a lot of people are thinking we live in a simulation.
Can I be Neo Hang on. I don't have glasses. I need sunglasses to be Neo.
Red pill, blue pill.
What?
If we are living in a simulation right now, then is the people who are making up the simulation kind of antsy because we're talking about it?
Well, that's so. When I saw everybody's seen The Matrix, right?
Yep.
They're fucking with a Skype connection.
Control Alt Delete Reboot.
Shut them down. Shut them down.
Delete the girl.
Oh God, it happened.
But I remember the first time I saw The Matrix, and I'm like, holy shit, like, this could be real. Like, I mean, this could, like, what if they put this movie out to be like, oh, it's a movie. It can't be possible, right?
Cute work of science fiction.
I used to think when I was a kid, what if everything in the universe was just created 1 second ago and we were all implanted with false memories?
Yeah, I've had those. If we live in a computer simulation, like, the question is, I guess, why is it this? Why is the computer simulation like this, and why is it not like Tron? Like, can we have something like Tron? Like, that'd be like, I'll throw death frisbees at people. Because like if you don't know, but I'm saying, like, if you don't know any better, like, if it's all a computer simulation, why is it this, and why not?
I know why.
Something else.
Because I had the same feeling because I just got my PlayStation VR and it's incredible. And I get to be Batman and everything. It's really incredible if you guys ever get a chance. But everything we simulate is more exciting than our own reality. So that must mean that whoever's simulating us must have really boring
Yes.
stuff going on.
Yes.
It's probably just like WALL-E, where it's like just a big fat guy in like a
Yeah.
gigantic chair that can't move.
It's like, I'm going to play my podcasting game today. I'm going to be Richard. What's up, everybody?
Look, they're talking about how they think it's not real. Oh, that's so silly.
Do you believe it?
I mean, you wouldn't know. I think it's a very realistic, because I think one of the guys actually said, like, it could be a 1 in a billion that are.
Elon Musk said that. He said
I think he said it was a 1 in a billion that it
he
wasn't.
said that
Yeah.
it's almost
Right.
certain that we are living in a simulated reality. And I thought, wow, Elon Musk, this is the guy who came up with the Tesla. He's done a lot of amazing things. I mean, a lot of amazing things. And I'm thinking, really, Elon Musk, this is what you're spending your time on? I hope he's not. I hope he's concentrating on, solving climate change, for instance. Put your energy towards that, not towards finding out if we're actually in some sort of giant
It
simulation.
seems like he's got his fingers in a lot of pies. He's trying to put somebody on Mars.
True.
He's trying to create a global Wi-Fi network. He wants to put up like satellites and have like basically a unified Wi-Fi.
Good. Okay, so Muskie's got stuff to keep him busy.
And the electric car and trying to figure out if we're living in a simulation. I heard he wants to be multi-orgasmic. So
Don't we all? I know I do.
Maybe that's why he's throwing it out there too. Like, he's like, getting to Mars is super freaking expensive. If there's maybe he says 1 in a billion that this isn't a simulation. He's just throwing it out there to be like, hey, if this is a simulation, if it's a chance, maybe they'll throw me a bone and make this trip to Mars a little cheaper.
yeah, that's a good point. Because it's like when you start thinking, okay, what if this is a simulation? At least for me, it's like, maybe what I do doesn't matter quite as much if this isn't reality, so I can just sort of take more risks.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I guess.
But I think that it's just the guys in Silicon Valley flailing around for some sort of god figure for them. I mean, are we just puppets of this godlike creator who controls everything? I mean, come on, Elon Musk.
We could be.
So
hey, you don't know.
This is Silicon Valley developing their own church.
Yes.
This is the church of
Yeah.
Church of Silicon Valley.
Hey, do you guys watch Westworld, by the way?
I haven't. I
haven't
to,
seen
but
it
I
yet.
haven't.
I want to.
This
though.
sort of touches on that.
It does. Because there's, this sort of a theme park you're in a Western populated by these androids who believe that they're actually fig cowboys and maidens and everything. And So these guys go in there and pay $40,000 a day, and they can do whatever they want. They can shoot people, they can pillage and plunder and rape and everything. But then the androids seem to start feeling like they're wondering what's going on, and they've been developed to the point where it seems like they actually have consciousness. So I guess where the metaphor for us is that we're like the androids and living in somebody else's reality and maybe waking up to it.
Exactly.
Right, Karen?
So maybe like Elon Musk is the guy that's dropped 40,000 bones to come into this world. And he's like, I'm going to fuck with these androids and make them question stuff even more.
How to tell them what's
Yeah,
up.
see, but I don't know. I think it's too simple to say if everything's a simulation, then there's no need for morality. It all should just be chaos because, I mean, I think morality is something that either you define for yourself or gets defined for you. And however you choose to exercise your own personal code, whether something's a simulation. If I'm playing a video game, let's say I'm playing Skyrim, I don't run into a town and just start killing townspeople, even though that I could very easily wipe out the townsfolk, every single guard that comes my way because I'm level 70 and nothing can touch me. I still don't do that just because that's not something I do.
Right.
But have you ever run over a crowd of people in Grand Theft Auto?
No.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. There's a lot of bad things I've done in Grand Theft Auto.
I felt bad about it, but I've done some of those things.
Well, I just wait for the ambulance to come over and revive them. I'm like, oh, they're okay. Then I run over them again.
In the Westworld, one of the androids who's starting to get a spark of what's going on and start to realize that things are getting kind of out of control. She whispers to another android, "These violent delights will have violent ends," or something like that. Is that right, Jason? Do you remember what the quote is?
Yeah, it's close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's saying that the things will be not, if in Westworld people just want to do dastardly things, and the androids are not having it anymore, and things are going to go down.
The question, like when I think about this, I'm like, okay, if we're living in some simulated reality that obviously has some rules that we live, physics and everything, does it really matter to us? Like Elon Musk, if he really believes that, he's still trying to figure out how to get to Mars. So he's obviously going about his business, even though he allegedly believes this. Shouldn't I do the same? But then you think, okay, there's these other scientists who are devoting all their time to trying to crack the code or something and expose the simulation. So I guess that's the only real tack that you can take. You can either just say, okay, maybe we are, maybe we're not, but it doesn't make any difference to me, which is kind of how I feel about God, actually, to tell you the truth. But or you can try to crack the code and expose the matrix.
I think, it's like, your morality is your own, and things that are important to you they're just important to you, and whether or not that's valid, I guess, is entirely up to you.
Right. Exactly. Hey, are any of you guys Star Trek: The Next Generation fans?
I've watched it, but it's not my favorite series.
Okay.
I know this sounds corny, but I liked Voyager. Voyager was my favorite.
I hear that. There's an episode called Ship in a Bottle, and it has to do with Professor James Moriarty of Sherlock fame, and they're in the holodeck, and there's a couple layers of holodeck around them, and they keep and Professor Moriarty cooks up a couple of layers of reality, so they think they've left this one holodeck, and in fact they think they're on the main ship, and in fact that's still the holodeck, and it sort of screws with what's reality and what's not.
So Star Trek did Inception before Inception.
Right. That is exactly right. That is exactly right.
But after Philip K. Dick did it.
Right. It's a long
Right.
science fiction trope. I mean, it's been around for a long, long time.
Well, that's what I always kind of think of. I mean, I think it was Men in Black where they had the little ball thing on the pet was like a whole universe. you know, like what if we're actually like this alien ant farm? Like, you know, there's some alien watching over this, like moving pieces around, feeding us, you know, oh, I got to put some water over
See
here.
there, that right there, that's where my brain gets broken when you try and like think about the grandioseness of the universe and
Oh,
how
Mhm.
small you are and how small you are in such a big place that's in such a bigger place that's in an even bigger place that might actually be a small place inside a big place, and then my brain just
Mhm. Like our whole universe could be inside a molecule in some giant's fingernail or something.
exactly.
It's probably true.
because I mean, like, have you ever like stood outside and like looked up and like just the vastness of it? We do drafts every now and then. We did a phobia draft, and that was one of my phobias is like the fear of space and the universe. Because when you get outside and you look at just like what Richard described, all of that you just feel so tiny.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
There's something about it that makes me feel not so
Yeah.
anxious about the world, I guess. It's like, it doesn't really matter all that much. We're making a big deal out of our little tiny problems or something
Yeah,
like that.
no, I think that makes
And
sense.
see, right, and I think there, you talk about, should we, since you look up at the sky and one thing is, do you feel insignificant in the grandioseness of everything? And and a lot of people say, no, it gives me hope, or it gives me comfort to know
Relief or something, yeah.
that I'm not making gigantic waves, and the things that I do aren't going to result in, ultimate calamity that will end everything, because everything usually shakes out fine. So don't sweat the small stuff.
I made the mistake of telling my 5-year-old that at some point the sun's going to swallow up the earth.
Oh no.
And so so now he'll be like, I'm going to go to kindergarten, but will the sun swallow up the earth before that? I'm like, no, that's a long time away. We're all going to be dead. He's like, we're all going to be dead?
And you're like, wait, I mean, I'll be dead. No, but I won't be dead. No, you'll be dead too. I'm dead. No, I'm just.
Yeah, don't worry.
Go to school.
Oh, but he brings that up all the time about the sun swallowing up the earth now. I'm sure he tells his other friends at school.
You totally traumatized Nico.
He doesn't even seem that traumatized. He just matter-of-factly brings it
By
up.
the way, we're all gonna get swallowed by the sun. I don't know if you know this. Probably brings it up to his friends to like brag that he knows it. Hey guys, I don't know if you know this, but
We're doomed.
we're all gonna die in a fiery blaze someday.
My dad told me. I would be so proud if he did that.
I tried to explain like the like I said, the way that we're on a planet in the solar system, and that solar system is in one of billions of galaxies, and that galaxy is one of billions of galaxies in the observable universe, and it could go on. I tried to explain that to my kids, and like you could like, and I think kids and adults have the same reaction, where like you can't totally comprehend how big everything is, because we don't actually know how big everything is. We only know how big everything is, and it's enormous, and that's just what we can see. And
Yeah, but the kids, I feel like we have a little bit better of an idea about it than the kids, even though you're right, we totally don't really, but they'll ask funny questions about that kind of thing that makes you realize they just totally don't get it.
I've seen adults ask stupider questions, so it brings me a little peace.
Questions like, what's this cake fart video about?
So good.
So I guess like Elon Musk, like he, obviously he's probably given directive to people he works with to go out and try and crack this code.
I hope not.
I mean, what are you thinking he's could you imagine that meeting? All right, everybody, gather around. Musk is comes in, drops a big book. He drops a DVD of The Matrix.
Here, prove it or disprove it. I mean, it's the same. How are you going to prove it or disprove it? And here's a follow-up question. Ultimately, okay, so we're all puppets in a giant, we're all specks underneath an enormous giant's fingernail. How does that change how we operate?
Well, and I mean, let's say you get out of that and you see like, holy crap, like this world that these robots run or this fat dude behind a computer runs the simulation,
Right.
like this place is miserable.
Yeah.
Like our place is cooler than that.
I'm just picturing like these two IT guys that they're like, dude, we just wanted to build a rocket. Like, can we just, excuse me, Mr. Can we just build a rocket? Is this like the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? Because I already paid my $10.95. I'm an official Pastafarian, so this is not. So I've gotten this T-shirt. Can we just build a rocket and go to Mars, please?
Or heck, I'll work on your Tesla. I'll do that.
Yeah, because he's got the cars. He's making the batteries too.
Yeah.
I can't think of what I can't remember what he's calling them. But it's like, if you have solar panels, you hook them up to this battery and it's supposed to extend.
Mm-hmm. Store the energy. Yeah.
It's supposed to store your solar energy far better than anything that we have so far.
Go, Elon, go. If he can do that, more power to him. I suppose maybe this is just a pet project, and maybe this isn't even Muskie at all. Maybe it's whoever else in Silicon Valley has too much time and money on their hands.
I mean, what do you think? I'm kind of curious what he would gain out of figuring this out, though, because there's another, like, this kind of tweaked my, like, back in the day, I mean, there's the movie with Jim Carrey called The Truman Show.
Yeah.
Right. Love it.
For the longest time, I tried to talk Rich into this, or talk to him about this. For the longest time, I felt like that was, like, this plot by the network company that's recording my life to kind of do, like, the same thing, like, maybe this Matrix simulation is.
And I told him that was
Yeah, like you were
crazy.
supposed to. You were following the script. Nicely done, Rich.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
We
We
should
should change the
totally-
subject. This is dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Oh yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, you're right, guys. That wouldn't.
So
that
just-
wouldn't. That wouldn't.
Totally ridiculous. That would never
I'm
happen.
gonna go get a nice Sprite.
Ah!
Would anyone else
well,
like
for-
one?
Mm.
It's refreshing and delicious.
Dog fancy.
You know what's as good as Sprite? Canada Dry, America's favorite ginger ale. It's our favorite import.
You're a jerk, Richard.
I also love Red Bull.
But just kind of getting to like what would he gain out of it? Like Jim Carrey left and he's going into this world that he doesn't understand. Like what happens if Musk cracks the code and they're like, all right, well, welcome to the new world. You're not a billionaire who, is making all these cool things. You're just, basically in a post-apocalyptic world surviving day to day.
Or you're a body in a tub full of goo with a gigantic hose coming out of the back of your head.
That was the question in the Matrix. Red
Yeah.
pill or blue pill, right? People want to know the nature of reality. I mean, it's just curiosity. That's one thing. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes curiosity kills the cat.
I don't know. I mean, I think if it's ultimately true, then we'll find it out eventually. Like we'll find it out when we're supposed to find it out,
Or not.
or not, or we'll never find out.
So if you're presented with the red pill and the blue pill, I don't remember which pill is which.
I don't
but-
either.
The blue pill was the red pill is what got you out. The blue pill is what is
Okay.
where you stayed.
Kept you in.
Well, I think if I'm presented with the choice, I mean, of course I'll take the red pill because there it's directly in front of me. They're saying here's the choice. But I'm not getting that right now. I'm getting, hey, this might be true. I think I might try and pursue this.
Got it. Nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like maybe it is. Who knows? I don't. I wouldn't even begin to conceive.
I'd feel like I'd probably go for the red pill and see like what the truth is. But I have a feeling like once I see what that world is, it's like this nasty, gross place
Yeah.
that, is miserable and everything tastes like chicken, or I can't remember. Somehow something was weird
All the
with
restaurants
that,
are Taco Bell.
yeah. Or Campbell's soup or whatever else you guys are promoting for the Shawn show. But I feel like I'd be the guy that I wouldn't want to turn my friends in, but I'd almost feel like you'd want to go back into it and be like, all right, listen, make me a millionaire, and then I won't have to worry about anything, and that's fine. I'll understand it's not real, but it'll feel real to me. I guess that was the question that I always wonder, is like, is that good enough? If it feels real, is it good enough?
Yes.
It depends on what the real reality is. Like, it could just be a bunch of green blobs or some, dimension that we can't even conceive of, that we could not even operate in. Or it could be freaking
or it
awesome.
could be like Event Horizon, where it's, this hellish landscape with no thought, no time, just eternal swirling chaos and pain.
You guys both have a dark view of what reality would be.
Well, he's going with post-apocalyptic, and I'm going with a...
I know. Why? Isn't there any chance that it's just like, oh, it's actually pretty cool?
I mean,
cows and...
What if it's just a world of bronies? I mean, you go out there and you see a bunch of like muscular dudes. You're a muscular dude. You get a one of those hats with the horn. You get to run around and read My Little Pony books all day. That wouldn't be bad.
Wouldn't it?
No. That's not. I don't know if that's a world I want to live in. I can't even get through the documentaries about bronies. I've tried to watch 2, and I can't. I can't do it.
That's a breed of their own. I was at a con with my mother-in-law, and there was a brony there. And I don't know if it was like a fake-looking suit, but it pretty much looked like he just had a thong on and was showing off his backside for everybody to see.
Want to see my Twilight sparkle? Oh.
That's one of those things where something pops up that I just totally don't get.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, to each your own.
I mean, like, yeah, I fault them not at all. I just don't
No.
I don't understand it. I'm the same way to a point with anime.
Yeah.
There's a few animes that I like, but I would say there is a vast majority that I just don't. I just not my thing.
The world is a big, crazy place full of really interesting weirdness and strange things
right.
and strange and wonderful things. Seems like with a world like ours where things are just crazy everywhere you look and there's new things everywhere there's a lot out there that you don't have to even think about, like, are we really in a simulation? I mean, and pondering that seems like a waste of time when we've got such a crazy, wonderful, weird world that we're living in, seems to me.
So you're saying the programmers have done a good job of making it cool?
Yes, my overlords are doing a fine job.
You seem very resistant to this idea.
I am. It pisses me off.
You know what you should do? You should drink a Canada Dry, America's best ginger ale.
Or enjoy some peanuts, America's natural snack.
So, Shawn, you just kind of think that there's no obvious reason to try and figure it out?
Yeah, probably, because what happens if you do? I mean, let's say we live in a Matrix-like world where there's robots who are using us for our energy. I mean, are you going to fight the robots? I've seen T2. It doesn't end out very well for everybody.
He makes a good point. You're so negative. He makes a good point. You're so negative. It's always, oh, we're under robot overlords, and oh, I live in a TV show and everything outside's horrible, or oh, post-apocalyptia, it's Mad Max, but worse because there's no Mel Gibson.
I can see a silver lining here. I think you like your life. That's why, right? So what if this other thing is not as good?
Like, my fear is, like, Richard and I and us will come out of this world and I'll be like, I want to go find Richard, Jason, and Karen. And it's like, yeah, they don't exist.
And we're slugs.
Well, that's half true. You haven't seen the bottom half of me, have you? only seen from here up.
Maybe it's like Futurama. That would be hip.
That wouldn't be too bad.
I would like that, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See?
If it could be as funny, and if Matt Groening writes all the episodes, then I'm fine.
It's one of the smartest shows on television, from what I understand.
Next.
They have a collective. I saw. Where did I read it? They have the writers' room collectively has 50 years at Harvard.
Wow. Really?
They call themselves the smartest, dumbest writers' room on television, or the most overeducated writers' room in television.
Hey, Black Mirror hasn't done an episode about whether we're living in a simulation, have they?
No.
They should.
do-
Charlie Booker.
They do it. They did do an episode that deals with augmented reality.
Yeah.
For like basically like a video game that seems real.
Right.
Like how would that play out? It doesn't go well in that episode.
It
I'm gonna
never
tell you that
does.
right now. It never ever does.
It never ends well in Black Mirror. Oh yeah, except do you remember when she brought back her dead boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever he was, and so she keeps him, she keeps him in the attic
Yes.
at the end.
Yeah. Well, see, like Twilight Zone occasionally ended on a somewhat okay note.
Oh, not often. But you're right. But
Not often.
it 9 times out of 10, it was a dark ending.
Monsters on Maple Street. That was always my favorite Twilight Zone episode.
What's that one?
It's this episode where it's just a typical neighborhood, and at one point everything shuts off. Like cars don't work, lights don't work, lawnmowers don't, like nothing. All of a sudden, everything just turns off. And they're trying to figure out what's, the neighborhood, like they come together because it's one of those, suburban neighborhoods in the 50s. And they're like, hey, Tom, hey, Steve. And, and everything shuts off and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then paranoia starts to slowly take hold. And then randomly somebody's their lights turn on in their house. And so then everybody thinks that it's their fault. And then aliens get brought up. And so they're like, oh, well, he must be an alien. But then somebody else's lights turn on down the street. So then they think the other guy's an alien. And then the guy that had the first house turn on, is trying to point fingers at the second guy to get the blame off himself. And it just slowly devolves into mass hysteria. And then the very end of the episode, it's these aliens that are standing on a hill overlooking the street. And they're like, yeah, we just, this is the procedure. We just do this. And then they end up killing each other because somebody ends up shooting and killing somebody. And then like I said, it just slowly just goes into crazy. It's riots. It goes from 50 suburbia to riots in under 20 minutes.
That's awesome. See, that doesn't end well.
No.
And I feel like that would be more realistic than a simulation. Like we're in some kind of social experiment, either by some government or like when I said Alien Ant Farm earlier, like that. They're like, hey, let's see what happens with, instead of mice and rats, they're using humans.
You know what? I want to ask you a question, Shawn. So in The Walking Dead, post-apocalypse, it has devolved into a pretty dark place. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so.
Now, do you think that if we had some sort of apocalypse such as that, do you think that is how it would actually shake out? Do you think that's pretty realistic? Do you subscribe to Robert Kirkman's dark worldview?
I don't know. Like I always think that's a really interesting question. I've never really thought about it much until you kind of mentioned it in one of your episodes where you dealt with the earthquake that happened in 88, 89.
89, yeah. Good memory.
I think it just depends. If it was a full collapse, you wouldn't probably see it at first, but once resources start to dwindle, once things like that happen, I think you'd probably see the people that were either already violent or had it in them would try to take advantage of the more innocent people.
That's a good point.
You would hope that that's not the case, but, humans don't have a great track record on a lot of stuff, so it would just take a couple of bad apples.
I don't know. I think you underestimate the ability of people in power, because I mean, okay, we the CDC at one point I think had some documents relating to protocols for a zombie like a virus or something like that. I think that while there may not be an official plan, I don't think that we're gonna get the dystopia that I don't think you're gonna get this crazy dystopia. I do think you would see things like mass displacements of people, but I do think that there would be power bases, I guess.
Yeah, I think you'd see it more. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw the old TV show Jericho.
No, I didn't.
A little bit.
Basically, there's like a bunch of nuclear bombs that go off in the States, and there's kind of like a nuclear fallout. So it's basically like these cities kind of come together, but then cities almost develop these kind of almost like their own country, and they end up fighting each other for resources because, like one person has this, but they don't think they're sharing, but they didn't know they had it so bad because communications are bad. And it basically breaks down that communication is key. So, if you're talking with your neighbor, maybe it'll work out better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's like mass lootings that happen a lot of times when things, go wrong. But so this episode's coming on after the season 7 premiere.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it'll be on like 3 weeks afterwards.
Can't believe they killed Rick.
I know.
So crazy.
And Carl.
Yeah, who would have known?
I was kind of happy about Carl.
He was getting mouthy there at the end. He's like, I want to play my new Nintendo next.
His haircut couldn't say.
Yeah, I do. I did think it was kind of sad when he took the hat and put it on Lucille and kind of bobbed it around and did a little Carl voice with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, where are we gonna go today?
Whack, whack, whack.
Yeah, when Rick did that? Yeah, that was kind of weird.
No, wait, Negan, I do puppets.
Well, it was nice that Negan got his in the end too.
Rick starts talking about what was it in Saving Private Ryan, where they have the German guy dig his own grave, and he's like, "No, I like Mickey Mouse. I like Mickey Mouse."
I'm a funny guy.
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Are you a fan, Richard?
I got how far did I get? I think I got to the end. I started on season 5. That's where I stopped. Not for any particular reason.
That's where you quit.
It's just it seemed like it was a show that always got put behind something else. Like, oh, I'll watch this and then I'll watch this.
Got
and then
it.
stuff just kept getting hopscotched in front of it. So yeah.
There's a lot of good TV out there. Oh my god.
I have so many shows like that.
I think I think I got maybe like 3 or 4 episodes into season 5.
Season 5, I have to say, has some really good ones in the middle
Yeah.
and towards the end there. I would definitely recommend at least finishing that. Right, Shawn?
Yeah, I would say so. The
Look at the flowers and everything.
terminus and all that. Yeah, I thought the vignette parts, because I always like vignette type movies where you see like, okay, here's this person in this day, and then this other person, this is what they did in that day.
Me
And
too.
really that
yeah.
second half of the season was a lot like that.
The Morgan episode with why am I blanking on his name? Where it showed just the two of them together. Eastman. Yeah.
That was season
Oh,
6, but yeah.
There's a lot of Ninja Turtle references in that I
Yes,
like.
there was. There was.
Oh, God.
We mentioned that.
So one question, you may have answered it on your show, but so is there, if you, up to this point of Walking Dead, is there one moment or like one scene or one piece that like you would say either like brought you back in the show, or you would say is your favorite moment of the show? Not like favorite as in like, oh, it was the, I loved when they hugged kind of favorite, but just more of the emotional piece of that show, if that makes sense.
Karen loves when they hug.
I do. No, the Eastman Morgan episode. Why can't I remember what that one's called?
It's called Here Not Here. Here's Not Here.
Here's Not Here. Yeah, thank you. That's, to me, a beautiful, beautiful episode, and I cried watching that. I think I've seen it like 4 times now, and I love it. I cry every time.
Episode 1, I cried. Episode 1. It was I can't think of the guy's name. So Rick gets picked up by
Morgan.
Yes, Morgan. So Morgan is at the he's up I think he's either in his attic or on a second floor window, and he has his wife in the gun sights, and he
can't do it.
He can't do it. And that's why I was like, I was by myself. I'm like, lost it.
That's
I
a great
was like
episode.
A girl with a skin knee.
Hey.
Oh, it was bad. Like a little girl with a skin knee.
Oh, because little boys never cry.
I cried all the time.
No.
As a little boy.
Yeah, you did.
I think we should change it.
I
Cried
could-
like a little boy.
Like a little boy I cried like Shawn
There
with
you
a skin knee.
Like a big bodybuilder.
With a skin knee.
I never needed to be brought back. Like I haven't. There's definitely been some episodes that weren't so great, but not enough to make me feel like, oh man, should I still be watching this? You know? But thinking back, probably that first episode back in Terminus, back from the cliff. Oh wait, was it the last episode of the season? No, it was the first season, season 5, episode 1, right?
Yes.
With the trough. That one just blew me
That's
away.
a great episode.
I was
Yeah.
flabbergasted.
That was great.
And I was thinking of the part that kind of brought me back was, so season 2 was pretty rough, I think. A lot of people kind of mentioned that. So
You're right, yeah.
it was the mid-season finale, and I was kind of like, I'm like, okay, it's not bad, but I'm kind of getting burnt out on it. And they have the barn scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so Shane flips out, he's like, blah, blah, blah. You can't protect them, Rick. And, he lets him out, and like you see, like, it's just a great scene. Like, everybody's shooting out the Zeds as they're coming through. And then finally they all stop. You're like, what the hell are they stopping for? And that's when the girl comes out, Sophia. And you're like, that's like jaw-dropping moment for me. And nobody can kill her, like put her down, but Rick. And that was a moment I was like, okay, this show's got me hooked.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. So I got to be on the show when all the zombies stormed Herschel's farm. You probably heard me talk about that. And when I got on set, everybody was whispering, "Oh, Sophia was in the barn." So I found out. So I didn't get to have that big, big moment.
But so is that? I was gonna say that's probably the reason why it's not.
Yeah,
because you were like, no, it got spoiled. And they're like, and somebody would be like, well, how did it get spoiled for you? Well, I was on the set that day. Booyah!
Because I had this peak experience.
So we're kind of coming to the end of the episode. So what we usually do here is we'll let Richard kind of tidy us up with some Richard's closing thoughts. So Richard, if you'd like to.
Okay. Okay. How do I tie this all together and wrap it up in a neat little bow? It's good to be passionate about something, and it's good to know your own mind, and regardless of whether that mind is real or not, it is your own. Woo.
Good job.
Also, I think I said this on the last episode we recorded. Shawn needs Netflix.
Yes.
Because there's been a new show added that he hasn't seen that he needs to watch.
That's a new charity we heard of. So please donate $9.99 Language of Bromance.
Yeah, Shawn needs a Netflix account.
Before we do a little bit of our housekeeping, did you guys want to plug your show, your site, or anything Walking Dead related?
Yeah, we're part of the Podcastica network. It's at podcastica.com, and our show, The Walking Dead Cast, is on there. And if you're a fan, I think you'll have fun if you listen to us. Especially, well, I guess this came out after Rick and Carl died, so
we're here for you. We're here for you.
And I know that because I was also on the set that day.
And I want to vouch, it's been a great podcast. I think I've been a Zed head since like 2012, maybe. So I've been listening for a while and love the show. And so I want to thank you guys very much for coming on the show. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shawn. Thanks, Rich.
I'm glad it finally worked out.
Had a great time.
You guys are fun to talk to for sure.
So I'll knock out a little bit of our housekeeping. So visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out our LOB Army intelligence reports. They're on our website. Like us on Facebook, subscribe, and leave a review on Google Play Music, iTunes, and Stitcher.
And don't forget to check us out on the Pod Bros Network.
Podcastiest site on the internet.
You just make that word up, podcastiest.
And if you're in the mood to give us a little bit of a tip in our jar, go to our Patreon accounts, www.patreon.com/languageofbromance. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
I say we eat the
I'm
beaver.
done.
Yes, let's do.
He said it. No, we should. It's the very first lady we've had on this show. I think.
But I'm a vegetarian.
Yes, I think that's good.
Say it.
Just say
it.
All right, here we go.
Well-
So
I advise everyone, if you're listening to this, to please eat the beaver.
Perfect.
That's good.
Perfect.
I like how you turned that around and advised other people.
Yes, I'm not going to eat the beaver. No, I will eat the soy beaver,
Well, you can eat the vegan beaver.
the fakin' beaver. it's like fakin' bacon.
Okay, nope. Shawn, that's right before she said, "I'm not going to eat the beaver." That's where you stop the episode, right there.